we got way past the people who had seen them.
So what do you make of the abductions? Do you believe that the people you spoke to were legitimately abducted, or do you think it was a phenomena of their consciousness? Or
these people had scars on them where devices had been inserted in them, that we actually had taken out.
And the devices were retrieved?
Oh, yeah. They were electronic devices with little wires on them that were running right into their nerve endings. That these are the real deal.
And what happened with these cases and these devices?
They were taken and brought to laboratories and verified and stuff. So we've got a whole panoply of these things. The information's been made available to Congress. That these are the evidence. The evidence of the reality of the UFOs is absolutely overwhelming now. There are videos of them. There are photographs that the F-18 Super Hornets pilots have taken right out the window of their airplanes, not just the gun cameras, that can see these things, 4 miles away. They've got UFOs that are right up next to their craft, and they've taken the photographs of them with their own little cameras right out the window. We've got the Jay Stratton, who is the head of the Advanced Weapons Special Access Program in the United States Pentagon, has stated that he has been in the hangar with a verified non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft. And he has seen the beings with his own eyes.
They're alive?
Yeah. They've captured live guys.
And the U.S. government has live non-human entities.
I interviewed a guy by the name of Oscar Wolff. His name was. He was a member of the Project Blue Book, a special team that was investigating the unacknowledged sightings. That there were over 700 of these things that they excluded from Blue Book. That were all in the classified portion of Blue Book that I saw, right? So I got to interview him, and he went into detail about being present for one of these interviews, out at S4.
Were they able to speak with these entities?
It's telepathic. It's all telepathic. Yeah.
And are they in custody, these entities?
Well, it was interesting. Oscar couldn't tell. He went with his commanding officer from Project Blue Book, this special unit of Project Blue Book, out to S4. They went way down underground, and he wasn't even sure how many stories down they went. And they came into this place where they had actual UFO vehicles that were there, hovering, just hovering.
They're functional.
Sitting in the air. Yeah, right. They had them there at S4. And they go into this facility where the ET guy was, and he was in this room, like about maybe 20 foot long, and about 20 feet wide, and you could see him through the window, this two-way mirror that they had, it was in the room, and you could look in and see him. They had him in this big blue jumpsuit. They had him all dressed, and he was standing there in the room, and his commander went in and invited Oscar to come in with him. Oscar wouldn't go near him because he thought he was demonic. He said Oscar was from this really fundamentalist Christian congregation, and he thought it was demonic. He didn't want to go near it. And so he could see his commander go into the room. You could see him standing right there, as close as you are to me here. And they were telepathically communicating. And Oscar was sitting there, and they showed him these boxes. They had these boxes of 8.5 by 4 little cards, note cards, and they were from interviews that had been conducted with the ET guy. The personnel were all there that were involved in doing this, and he was reading through them when he was waiting because he didn't want to go in to see the guy. And so he said that they were asking questions, and one of the questions they said, "Well, where are you from? What are you doing here?" And he said that, "Well, I'm part of a group of different beings. They were from different star systems, and we're all involved in this program of going around here inside our galaxy, checking on these different planets where life has evolved. And Earth is one of them. And so that we're just checking up and making reports on how the people are evolving." And the follow-up question was, "Well, who assigned you to this? Who's coordinating this anyhow?" And he said, well, it's what you people would call God, but it's a lot different than you think it is. That's what he said. And Oscar would never tell anybody. He told me on his deathbed. He called me in one of those homes where you're dying, hospice home. And he called me from, he was in northern Minnesota, called me at my office, and I flew out to see him. And went in, and he's got all these tubes and things in him, and he's right at death's door. And he said he didn't want to die without telling somebody about this, that he had seen this.
And what was Oscar's role again?
He was a clerk typist for Project Blue Book. That he was in that special unit that was assigned to investigate these 700 or so cases that they could not explain away. They couldn't come up with, they were ball lightning or, spotlights, shining off the bottom of clouds or something. They couldn't come up with any even conceivable explanation because there were just too many witnesses, or they had photos of them, or there were, there are reasons why they couldn't get rid of the case. And so he would be at the office at this base that they had, and the investigators would go out and interview all the people and come back and give them records, and he would type them all up. And so he ended up staying there for a long time and got to be very close with the commander. And so that's how he got to be invited to come with him to go to S4 for this interview that he was going to do.
And where's S4?
It's in Nevada.
Wow.
It's in Nevada. It's about 11 miles away from Area 51.
And do you know what happened with this extraterrestrial or craft?
I don't.
Did Oscar disclose anything else?
No, Oscar didn't know. All he knows is what he knew and what he saw, and that's what he wanted to tell somebody before he died. So he knew that I'd been at Jesuit headquarters, and he was getting set to die, and he needed to tell somebody.
And what was Oscar's clearance? Like, did he have...
He had above top secret clearance because he had access. I mean, this secret is it is the most closely guarded secret in the American intelligence community.
And why was Oscar so certain that this wasn't a foreign government's tech or some type of psyop to?
Because he could see the guy. He could see the UFO guy. He was standing right there.
And what year was this roughly?
It must have been sometime before 1967 because that's when they disbanded Blue Book.
I see.
Yeah.
And is it possible? I always wonder with these things. Is it possible this is a misinformation campaign to utilize people to say that they saw things in order to divert attention?
Yeah. I mean, given the depths to which our national security state is willing to go to deceive people and to plant ideas in the minds of the American public and to conceal something, that you can't put anything past them. But when you're doing a professional investigation and stuff like I do, and I've been doing for 50 years, that you lay out what the possibilities are. You start to attribute probability projections to what the alternative explanations are. And in these particular cases, the possibilities of this being fabricated have gone down to almost zero now. In light of all of the data and information that's available, and I've been sitting talking like this to guys with there are 12 levels of security clearances above top secret.
Now, Oscar himself said that he telepathically communicated with this being.
No. His commander was.
I see.
His commander went in and was having this. When he talked to the commander told him that he could telepathically just communicate back and forth with this ET guy.
Now, this crash retrieval that you saw, the photograph, do you know the story about where that came from or what that was?
It was a bad part of my part. I was so kind of excited about the fact that I had found it, that what I did is I went, because they told me I couldn't take any notes and I couldn't take any recordings or anything. So they took my briefcase and stuff away from me, but I had a yellow pad with me. I happened to had a yellow pad under my arm, and I walked in. And so when I saw this, it was in these canisters, these little film microfiche canisters. And so I had this microfiche machine where I would put the microfiche in and I would crank it and see these, all this. So when I was looking for the photos of these things, right? And there they were. And so when I saw them and I saw the symbols along the bottom of the dome, I focused the picture right down to fit the inside cardboard of the yellow pad that I had, and I traced exactly, detailed what every one of these symbols were all the way around the bottom of the dome of this craft. And then I closed up the yellow pad and put it away, and I said, "Okay, that's it. I'm getting out of here." And I put it all back in and put it all away and just got up and walked out. And I walked out past the guards and picked up my briefcase and started going down the hall, and one of the guards said, "Sheehan, what is that you got there?" And I said, "Oh, this is my briefcase. I just picked my briefcase up." And no. He said, "What's under your arm there?" And so they came over, kind of menaced over me, yanked the thing away from me, and kind of fluttered through all the yellow pages, and there wasn't anything in it. So he handed it back to me like that.
And what were the symbols?
They were, "Here, give me you got a pencil?